The executive director of the Gambia Organization of the Visually Impaired on Tuesday revealed to iAfrica TV some of the hurdles they faced during the pandemic. According to him, the government's support is not satisfactory and they are not economically sustained. Aisha has more.
The COVID-19 global health crisis has negatively impacted the lives of people, including the differently abled people. Most of these people, especially visually impaired, have been economically affected as most of them are unemployed. People with these disabilities, faced with increased risk of poor outcomes from the virus, reduced access to routine health care and rehabilitation, and the adverse social impact of efforts to mitigate the pandemic. Lamin Koli, the executive director of the Gambia Organization of the Visually Impaired, has highlighted the economical effect COVID-19 has on visually impaired.
Our members are facing a huge challenge during this period. When you look at the economical aspect, during the lockdown, you will find out that public places were locked and most visually impaired people who depend on begging were not able to go out as a result of the lockdown imposed by the COVID-19. So this has imposed a big challenge on their lives and their families.
According to Lamin Koli, the support received from the government is not satisfactory, but acknowledges certain NGOs that provided them great help.
Yes, there are support from NGOs. There are some NGOs that would not allow their names to be published anyway, but they have done a lot for visually impaired people across the country. But when it comes to the government sector, I think what was the support that was granted to visually impaired people was not satisfactory anyway. But looking at the problem is that our visually impaired people were not involved in the process of drafting the response strategy for the COVID-19 that was drafted by the National Disaster Management Agencies, meaning disabled people were not involved in the process of developing that strategy. That's why the COVID-19 response was not inclusive.
Lamin calls on the authorities to include the differently able people in all the decisions that they make.
Authorities should always remember that Gambia is a diverse country with diverse people, that there are some people who are still left behind, so they should start thinking of what to do to bring those people on board. So our issues should be valued. We should always be remembered by the authorities and decision makers. So with that, some of these challenges will be addressed gradually.
Worldwide, disasters and emergencies often disproportionately impact everyone, but the disabled are often hit hard, and this pandemic is of no exception. Reporting for iAfrica News, Aisha.